Hi, and welcome to Origin of Concepts. Today we're going to look at the origin of Osiris, the guy next to me in the picture. The info I'm about to show you has never been published before, so I am very, very excited. Okay. Osiris was a central figure in Egyptian mythology, related to the afterlife, death, rebirth, and the Nile, and a symbol of fertility and regeneration, but also the judge of the dead. Osiris was killed by his brother Set, revived by his wife Isis after being cut into pieces, and after that he leaves the throne to his son Horus the falcon. When a pharaoh died, he was dressed up to represent Osiris. Osiris is depicted as a green or black-skinned mummy, wearing a headjet crown with a serpent, wearing a long beard, and crossing the crook and the flail over his chest. Okay. The crook is the shepherd's staff, which serves as a symbol for guiding and protecting people in the afterlife. The flail is a tool to extract seeds from the axis, to regenerate a new cycle of vegetation. You can't bring seeds into the afterlife, because the spirit inside the seeds must be used to sustain and regenerate the earthly cycle. Therefore, the seeds, the spirits of the dead, must be harvested. And by the way, this philosophy is the forerunner for the Grim Reaper, the death with the sight. It comes much later in the history, and I'll make a video about that another time. And the seed and the black soil is a huge subject regarding the entire foundation of ancient Egypt, which I also will get into in another video. It's a massive misunderstanding that the flail is a whip representing authority or punishment. It was not used for that. Osiris is one of the only characters from the world myth which is actually visible by the naked eye and still can be observed in the night sky today. So that's very exciting. Okay, now to the juicy stuff. Let's get a picture of the Milky Way. Here we go. Osiris is a character made with inspiration from the Milky Way center. Osiris' head and crown are formed by the shadows surrounding the disk. And now I'll get my pen. So, we always start with the disk, because this is the inside of Osiris' head. And then he got his green face, which is represented by this area. There you got it. And then Osiris got his long beard, which can be seen here. And Osiris wear the cone-shaped headjet crown, which is the great white shadow to the right of the disk. So here we got the headjet crown. Now you know where the bowling pin comes from. And I think it's something like that. So here you see the outlines which gave the inspiration to Osiris. Sometimes he wears the Atif crown, which is the bowling hat, which I like to call it, with the two feathers. And basically the two feathers represent the two feathers here. There's one and there's the other. So, but that's in newer versions, so, but that's the two feathers. Okay. And then in Osiris's headjet crown here, let me mark it up again. We got the serpent, or the cobra. And the cobra can be seen here. It's like it's twist down. And it's right here in the Milky Way center. So, here is the serpent. And the cobra is actually, you can see it with your own eyes when you look up at the stripe shade. So if you're going to observe this part of the Milky Way, you will be able to see it. I'll go deeper into this subject in another video, where we'll go specific for the serpent, because the serpent is very important in all ancient myths. Okay, let me draw the crook and the flail, so you know where it is. The crook and the flail, named Heka and Nekaka, are the shadows on each side of the disc. Here we got the handle, the hook, which basically do something like that. It's not precisely, but it's here. So that's the crook. And then we got the flail. It's the staff here on the other side. I'll just draw it like this. And then we got on the flail, we got those things, the whippy things, which of course is the striped shadow down here. And then you got the pearls in between, is the colored stars. Maybe this string here going down from the top into the disc could also be a part of this subject, but it's here. And there's a reason why they are here and why he crossed them over his chest, because the reason why the tools are crossed over his chest is a symbol of the shadows crossing the disc. You got the disc here, and then you got one shadow here, and then you got a shadow here, which supposed to cross, the two rivers meeting, the heavenly and earthly realm meet each other in the center of the Milky Way. So that's why it's crossed, where the dead and the living are meeting. Okay, so let me open this picture here. There we go. And here I make a little better drawing. So that's what you see when you look up in the sky, Osiris in the Milky Way. Okay, I'll keep this image, and then we can decode some of the Egyptian myth, which says Osiris became the first mummy, and therefore I will go back to this image, because Osiris is the first mummy. The mummy is visualized by his head, the disc, and the striped shadow here is his body. And inside the body, you got the bandages, the mummy bandages. Osiris coffin or sarcophagus is the entire Milky Way center. So this is his coffin here. He is in the coffin. And now I'll make a little more detailed. Here we got the mummy again. And here we could also argue that this is the mummy. And now comes the funny part, because the striped shadow is also the jet pillar, which is the backbone of Osiris. And here we got his backbone, the striped shadow. This is Osiris' backbone. Okay. We take the next myth. The coffin of Osiris is thrown into the Nile. So, here is the mummy. The bandages. And it's thrown into the Nile, which is the Milky Way River. So here you got it. The Milky Way center is the Nile. Or we could say the Nile in the sky. And just to make you understand, we talked about where things are crossing. Where the striped shadow flows into the other shadows is the Nile Delta. So this is where the Nile splits up in two parts, like this. So here is the Nile Delta in the sky. Okay. A 3 grows up around the coffin. And this can be visualized on two different ways. The first one is the most real, because this is the tree top. And here is the trunk. And the myth tells that Osiris is inside the trunk. And of course, we got the mummy here, inside the trunk of the tree. Okay. Let me scroll down here. And then the tree is cut down and used as a pillar to support the roof of the palace. Okay, so we need to find the roof of the palace, which is here. And here we got the cut down tree, which is the holding the roof in the palace. And I think you can visualize it here. And next, Osiris' brother Set cuts Osiris into small pieces and scatters them over Egypt. The small pieces of Osiris are the stripes in the striped shadow below the disk. So this is Osiris cut into pieces. So this is the pieces of Osiris. And they are shattered all over Egypt. And Egypt is a metaphor of the Milky Way center. I'll get into the foundation of Egypt, versus the lower and higher Egypt in another video, because this is very important to understand how the Egyptians, their thoughts. All right, and then we go back to this. I think I have a mummy picture to show you here. Just give me a second, because this will give a much better, like this. Here you see the mummy of Osiris. That's the way the Egypt saw it. And you clearly see his backbone here. Perfect. Okay, so next. Now we got Isis into the play, because Isis gathers the pieces of Osiris, but his penis has been eaten by a fish. So she makes a new one of gold. Okay, let's look for the pieces of Osiris, the fish, and the golden penis. We already know that the pieces are the stripes. And of course, they are inside the belly of the fish. Let me try to make the fish. There we got the fish. And of course, the belly of the fish is this area, because this is always the belly, the cosmic womb in every single myth. So here we got Osiris inside the fish, or should I say his penis, because if we try to see this picture again, this could be a golden penis. There we got. And the reason why it is golden is because the golden light from the disc, it shines all through the striped shadow when you look up at it in the reality. So it looks like the striped shade is like, the glory of the light, disc light. So here you got Osiris, golden penis. Okay, and then we got a little more. Because Osiris rules over Duat, the underworld and realm of the dead. And it's very simple, because Duat, the underworld, is the Milky Way center. And here is Osiris temple in the middle. All right. And then Osiris is commonly associated with the constellation Orion. And that's really, really weird because I have read all the texts many times, and I can't understand how in the pyramid text this character Sar, and he is somehow associated with Orion, and it can't be possible. There's no logic reason to do that. So I don't know how the Egyptologists ever got this conclusion, but I'll make a video about the Sar Orion subject another time. It's on my to-do list. But from my perspective, Osiris is not related to the constellation Orion. But I'll explain that later. Okay, now you know where Osiris is and how they got the inspiration to create Osiris. And he's still there. And I will highly suggest you to go out on a cold winter night or wherever you are in the world, find the Milky Way center and look up, because when you see it with your own eyes, this is just a picture, but when you see it with your own eyes, he is gigantic. He fill all your perspective when you see the Milky Way close to the horizon. It's a very, very amazing view. So I can recommend that. Okay, I think that's all for today's video. If you enjoy my content, give a thumbs up. If not, tell me to jump into the underworld. Knowledge must always flow free. However, a donation of $1 or $2 is greatly appreciated. The link is in the description below. So the only thing I have to say is take care and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.